Today I'm gonna show you every spell in Iron Spells and Spellbook, and since spells have levels, I'm gonna show you the weakest and the strongest level for each spell. And we're gonna start with the Fire spell. And the first one we're gonna try is the Firebolt. This one shoots a Firebolt where you look at. This is the weak one, and this is the strong one. Then Burning Dash will launch you towards where you look at, and you will burn targets along the way. So this was the weakest, and this is the strongest. The next one only has 3 levels. The first level is a big fireball, and the highest one is an even bigger fireball. Oh, now I need to repair everything. This one is one of the few one that destroys blocks. Then we have Blaze Storm. This is the level 1. It shoots for 3 seconds, and the level 10 will shoot for almost 6 seconds, doing way more damage. Then Fire Breath will shoot fire, burning everything in front of you. And this is the last level, with just 10 times more damage. Then we have Magma Bomb that explodes on contact and enter the ground around the explosion. And this is the last level. It does more damage and has a bigger AoE. And finally, the last fire spell is the Wall of Fire. You have to draw the spell, and when you stop casting, it's gonna leave a firewall where you drew the spell. And the last level just does more damage and lasts longer. Now onto the lightning spells. The first one we're gonna check is the Ascension Scroll. This spell will strike you with lightning, damaging everything around you and lifting you up in the air with slow falling. And the highest level will only do more damage. Then we have Chain Lightning. This one works with multiple entities and will target more than one. The first level can only target 4 entities, but the last level can hit up to 13 entities. Then we have the Charge Scroll. This one will make you run faster, attack faster, and give you more spell power. Like, there we go. This is the last level, and we are indeed faster. Then we have the Electrocute, which is basically the Fire Breath, but for electricity. And the second one is doing just way more damage. Then you have Lightning Bolt that makes a lightning strike a target. And the last level will almost do 3 times as much damage. And finally, the last electricity spell is the Lightning Lance, which does pretty much what it says. It's a big skill shot, you need to hit the target, and it's gonna do a lot of damage, and this is the last level. And now onto the Ice spell. The first one we're gonna check is the Cone of Cold, which is like the Fire Breath, doing a lot of the damage in front of you, and the highest level will only do way more damage. The Frost Step is a teleportation spell that will leave behind an ice block that will explode in icicle that will damage what it touch. And the higher level you go, the further you can reach by teleporting. And also the damage is higher. Then you have the Ice Block. For this one you need a target. And when you aim at a target, an ice block like the Isolager will spawn above its head and smash down, doing a lot of damage. And the higher level will simply do way more damage. Then we have the Icicle, which is like the Firebolt. It doesn't cost a lot of mana, and it does a fair amount of damage. Then you have Summon Polar Bear. This spell will summon a polar bear for you that will attack your enemies. You can also mount the polar bear and drive him around. The higher the spell, and the more HP the bear have. And finally, our last spell is the Ray of Frost. Good amount of damage in front of every mob in front of you, but that will also deal frost damage to the enemy. And the higher level just does more damage. And now we have the Blood spell. The Acupuncture spell will target an enemy and deal a lot of damage instantly. And the higher level you go, the higher the damage. The Blood Needle spell will shoot 5 projectiles towards a target and does more damage the highest. The Blood Slash will shoot a slash of blood in front of you, piercing through enemies and dealing way more damage the higher the level. The Blood Step will teleport you at a location and leave you invisible for a little short period of time. And the higher the level you go, the further away you can teleport. The Devour spell summons a giant Evoker Fang that will do a lot of damage and will increase its damage depending on the level. But not only that, if you kill a mob with the Devour, you will gain an increased amount of HP depending on the spell level. The Heartstop spell will make you invulnerable to damage for a certain amount of time. If the number of damage you take would kill you normally, after the time runs out, you will die. And the higher the level, the longer you can survive while being invincible. The Raise Dead spell will summon a bunch of zombies. The level 1 will only do 1 summon, but the highest level will summon 6 undeads. The Ray of Siphoning casts a ray in front of you that will heal you for a certain amount when you hit a mob. And the higher the level, the higher the damage. And finally, the last one, you will feel like the Wither because it's Wither Skull that you can shoot at a target. It shoots really fast every 1 second, and the higher spell you go, the higher the damage. And now we have the Ender spell. The counter spell can counter and dispel any spell. Then we have the Dragon's Breath. This one is like the Fire Breath. It deals damage on contact, and the higher level will do more damage. The Evasion spell will make it possible to dodge an attack from an enemy. And it's gonna teleport you along the way like a chorus fruit. The higher level will make you dodge up to 6 attack. The magic arrow will shoot an arrow of ender energy that deals damage. And the higher level you go, the higher is the damage. The magic missile is a weaker but faster version than the magic arrow. And the higher level you go, the higher is the damage. The starfall spell will summon a bunch of star falling where you look at. And the higher level you go, the only thing that will change is the damage of the stars. The teleport spell is exactly what it says. It teleports you to a certain distance, and the higher level you go, the further you can teleport. Summon Ender Chest will give you access to your Ender Chest. There is only one level and it's getting access to your Ender Chest, of course. The Black Hole is one of the strongest spells of this mod. It takes a long time to cast, but once it's there, it's gonna pull enemies towards it and do a good amount of damage for a while. But it has 2 minutes cooldown, so you better find something else to do in the meantime, because your enemy will be stuck there. And a higher level will not increase the damage, but will increase the size of the black hole. Holy crap, that is huge! Also, to cast the last level of the spell, you need 800 mana. So right now I have one of the best armor, so you need to upgrade your armor with orb if you even want to cast this spell. And then to finish the Ender category, another really strong spell is the Void Tentacle. An area of tentacle hitting constantly your enemies. And this is a direct reference to Dungeons & Dragons, Evar's Black Tentacle. And a higher level will only summon a bunch more tentacle. Oh my god. And also the damage will be higher, of course. Then we have the Evocation Spell. And the first one we're gonna check is the Chain Creeper. This one will spawn a bunch of creepers spawning on a target. And the higher the level, the higher the number of the creepers. With the Fang Strike, you will basically be an evoker. And the higher the level, the longer the evoker Fang and the higher the damage. The higher the damage. The Fang Guard will spawn a bunch of Fang around you. And the higher the level, the higher the number of the Fang. That's a lot of Carrot Fang. Right? No, okay. The Firecracker spell will hit a target with a firecracker, and it doesn't travel, it is instant, so you only have to aim somewhere and you hit them. And the higher the level, the higher the damage. The Gust spell will push enemy away, doesn't work with gummies, and will do a little bit of damage. It should do a bit of damage, but it didn't. The Invisibility spell is, yeah, invisibility. But you come back if you hit something. And the higher the level, the longer the invisibility. The Lob Creeper Hell will simply throw a creeper head to your target. And the higher the level, the faster it is and the higher the damage. The Shield spell will create a physical shield in front of you that has a certain amount of HP and that will block anything, even entities. And the higher the level, the higher the number of HP. The Spectral Hammer will summon a hammer that will mind block for you. The lower spell will dig a 3x3x2, but the higher spell will dig a 5x5x6. The Summon Horse will, well, summon a horse. This horse already has a saddle and you can already run on it. And the higher the level, the higher the HP. And it is way faster, look at it go. And the last spell is Summon Vex, which will also make you an evoker. The first level will only summon 1 and the last level will summon 5. And the next one we're gonna look is the Holy Spell. The Angel Wind will give you Elytra that you can wear over your armor. And the higher the level, the longer the duration. The Blessing of Life can only be targeted at someone else, and it's basically just going to heal them by the amount of the level. So the higher the level, the higher the amount. Unfortunately, you cannot damage undead with it. It would make a lot of sense since it's like positive energy and healing spell harm the undead, but oh well, it doesn't work like that. The Fortify Scroll will give you and all your allies more HP. The first level will give you 8 HP, and the last level will give you 20 more HP, which is basically another health bar. The Greater Healing spell only has 1 level, but it takes 6 seconds to cast. It will heal you 100%. The Guiding Bolt is not a Guiding Bolt until you hit something with it, and it's gonna give it the glow effect. And if a mod has a glow effect, the spell will try to bend toward it. It's having a hard time though, but it's gonna try to hit the mob. And the higher the level, the higher the damage. The Healing Circle will spawn a circle of healing where you aim and you and your allies can heal in that circle. And the higher the level, the higher the healing. The healing spell is simply that, is gonna heal you, and the higher level, the higher it's gonna heal. The Wisp spell is a target spell, so it will always go towards your target and will only stop when it hits it. Or a block, it seems. And the higher the level, the higher the damage. Can even try with flying mobs, and it's gonna go slowly towards it until it hit it. Really good for flying mobs. And finally we have the Nature spell, and the first one we're gonna check is the Acid Spit. This one will spit a ball of acid that will reduce the armor of the target. Only 5% for the first level, but 65% for the higher level. The Blight Swirl is a target spell that will reduce the healing of the target. The Poison Arrow will do damage in an AoE and will also inflict poison. The Poison Spray is like the Fire Breath. It just shoots right in front of you, and the higher the level, the higher the damage. The Poison Splash is a target spell that will just spawn a bunch of poison above its target. The higher the level, the higher the damage, but also the longer the effect. The Root spell takes 2 seconds to cast, but will hold the entity in place and will not be able to move. And the higher the level, the longer the creature gets locked in. But don't go too close, because they can still attack. The aspect of the spider will increase the damage you do when their target is poison. And the higher the level, the higher the damage. So let's say this thing is in poison. We do 13.5. And with this, we do 15.76. The next one is the Firefly. The swarm will target a mob and will inflict damage to mobs around the target. And the higher the level, the higher the damage. The Oak Skin spell will give you a damage reduction of 15% for the lowest spell and a whopping 50% with the highest spell, which means you're gonna take half as much damage as you're supposed to. Like this Ravager here is only taking 1.5 heart of damage. And the last spell of the mod that we're gonna check is the Earthquake spell. The first level will inflict a small amount of damage on the Earthquake each time it passes over a mob and will inflict slowness 1. And the last level will inflict way more damage, but will also inflict slowness 4, which means mobs are really slow now. So now that you've seen every spell available in the Iron Spell and Spellbook, I hope that you'll find one that will suit you best. And I hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye! Ow!